Have you ever seen someone or myself do stuff like this in their heist and wonder how is that even possible? I promise you after watching this video you will become a master of Cayo Perico. If you did watch my previous heist, you probably remember that I asked you to focus on 3 things and one of them was the accessory I'll be using. Also, a couple of weeks ago, if YouTube suggested my community post to you, you might have seen this. There are a lot of people that still haven't heard about them and 11% wanted. I'll cover all 5 accessories that exist, how to use them and when, and of course how to find them with a crazy trick that probably no one showed you. At the end of the video you will see the heist itself and how and why I decided to take that particular path. Alright, let's start. The guard clothes give you an incredible mobility around the island and can be combined with other accessories which then make this heist a walk in the park that you will see later on. Basically, when you use the clothes you can go inside a guard site for almost 5.5 seconds before they realize that you are not one of them. And when I mean guard site, this is what I'm talking about. If you go in a guard view and then leave it, the countdown restarts each time. You could circle around them like I'm showing in the clip and never get caught. You can even pull out your weapon and nothing will happen. The same rule applies if you go inside the camera site. Now you remember the small clip I showed you at the beginning, it actually had nothing to do with the guard clothes, but I was not getting detected simply because I'm staying outside the range of view and could stay there for hours. Realistically, this doesn't make any sense, but this is a game and once you understand that mechanic and combine it with the guard clothes, you basically become a ninja. As long as you don't bump accidentally in a guard, you will be fine. The only place the guard clothes won't work is inside the compound, but that's not completely true. There is a small exception with the supply truck, but we will see that a bit later on when we will talk about the YETI. The bolt cutter is a stealth accessory. Have you ever done this and wonder why you are getting caught?
Bags, more money in bags. Perhaps next time, yes? Enemy helicopters inbound.
Or maybe using the guard clothes thinking you are outside everybody's range of view and then open the gate and this happened.
Imbécile!
Helicopters heading your way.
Basically what's happening is that your cutting torch is making a ton of noise and this is an unusual activity for the guards, so it breaks your stealth. And now this is an example what the bolt cutter allow you to do.
In Russia, we bring friends, and our friends bring bags, more money in bags. Perhaps next time, yes?
Now if you use the guard clothes and the bolt cutter, you can do things like this. Now I'm not telling you that you should go between both guards, you can go around them, it was just to show you how all of a sudden this becomes very easy. The big advantage you have now is that you basically need to kill no one to loot your secondary loot. The only thing you have to keep in mind is the 5-second rule for the guard clothes in case someone is watching you loot, but even if they are close to you it doesn't matter. As long as they don't loot at you, you can loot safely, and the less people you kill, the less possibility of a body found you have to worry about. The supply truck is basically your free pass to the main gate, and once again you won't need to kill any guard. You need to have the guard clothes equipped first or you won't be even able to reach this area without being caught. Once you're inside, don't forget the guard clothes will not work anymore. The only exception, and this is applied to the supply truck approach, near the main gate you can see some guards have a white icon. You can freely move around them without being caught, just be careful because here, if you pull out a weapon in the range of you, they will ring the alarm. You can find the YETI at 5 different places on the map that I will show you at the same time the other accessories a bit later on in the video. The only thing you have to keep in mind is that if you use the main gate entry, you will have to exit from the main gate except if you have the grappling hood also, which is our next accessory. The grappling hood, the bolt cutters and the guard's clothes can be found anywhere on the island, which is not the case for all accessories. This item gives you access to 2 walls. You can enter the compound from 2 sides if you have it and exit from the same places. Most of the time, more experienced player will combine this with the guard clothes because it allows you to pass all the guards on the way to the compound without having to kill anyone, and also you won't have to deal with any cameras. The idea behind this is, let's say your best secondary loot is spread at 2 different places and the supply truck is too far from your loot. You can grab instead a grappling hook with the guard clothes, take a bike or a jeep and go straight to the compound. But instead of the main gate, you will use the north wall or the south wall to get inside the compound. Also, it's worth to mention that even if you use the grappling hook to get inside, you can still use the main gate as an exit. The code is a small piece of paper that gives you, well, a code to open one of these two doors, and like the grappling hook, you can also exit from the same places that you got in or the main gate. The big problem with this accessory is that you can only get a code from one of these two areas. There is absolutely no way to know where it's gonna be while you are doing the original scouting of the island, and what's even worse, to have access to the code you have to kill guards and one of them will drop it and there is no way to know who will. Just look in this clip, I basically had to kill everyone to eventually find it, and it also takes a lot of time. You really need to know what you are doing while killing those guards or someone will see a dead body and ring the alarm. Basically this accessory was made for the people who want to do the aggressive approach or just a personal challenge. You can still do this stealthy like I just showed you, but have a plan or this will cause you a lot of trouble. This is probably the most important part of the video. I want to explain how you should be thinking while doing all this to make this fairly easy. Okay, so the idea is if you want to make the most money possible, you have to go for two white stuff, but we already know that. Quite often you won't find them close to each other, so you need to travel at more than one place, and that's where the accessories can become very useful. What you want to do is find these items not too far from your secondary loots. There are over 60 possible spawns for accessories, and I'm going to show you the most accurate map I found on the internet with almost all the locations. But don't worry, the idea is not to remember them at all or even use the map. I'll explain that in a minute. I'm going to zoom in on the north dock because I wanted to show you something interesting. As you can see, you have 3 possible spawns for each accessories and even 4 possible guards close spawns, and I'll show you soon how you can check almost all of them in only few seconds. But first we are at the airport since it's where the volume land and the scouting start. Usually what everyone do from here is check both hangars for secondary loot, which is fine, but we will do something else first. We are going to use a small trick. Yeah, it's your cell phone. I'm gonna look this way and take a picture. Do you see anything toward there? Because personally I don't, but your cell phone does, and it does it from extremely far, if there is an accessory or a secondary loot. What you want to do is always take a picture of a very wide area and have a good angle. Here in the small area, this is all the possible accessory you could have detected with that one picture. Now if you do find an item, you want to take another pic until you find nothing, because you can only detect one accessory at a time and not more. Basically what's happening is that even if there is only one pixel visible, you will detect the item even if you don't see it with your own eyes. You can use this trick even for secondary loots. The only time it won't work is if there is a big wall of brick or any kind of wall that completely block your view. You can often see 2 hangars made of wood and even sometimes through boxes. Okay, so back to our current heist. Basically my heist is done already right there. Why? Because if you remember well, the guard claws allow me to move between guards fairly easy, and the bolt cutter allow me to open gates without making any noise and being caught. So all I got to do is find 2 stash of white stuff. All of a sudden this becomes very useful, because if your secondary loots are bad at the airport, why do that meta with the Longfin and then the drainage tunnel if you can get the best loot somewhere else instead in almost the same amount of time and make more money? But for the purpose of the video, for now we will just pretend I didn't find anything at the airport and that we are still looking for better possible options. Now if we go back to what I mentioned earlier about the north dock, this is where I personally like to go. First of all, there can be a bolt cutter here, so I would see it right away on my way up. Then this is where I usually stand to take pictures to see if there is anything, because no guard can detect me at this spot if positioned correctly. And then I take another picture slightly to the left, because there can be a grappling hook on the roof that I can use like I did in my last Cayo Perico heist. For this run in particular, my RNG was pretty bad for the north dock, but on my way down here there is another possible guard close spawn. So basically what I showed you earlier cover all the items except one, and it's a grappling hook on the top of the water tower, which is fine because it takes like 40 seconds to get up there, and like I said, we want to make this quick. You can apply this trick for the pictures anywhere on the island. If you remember well, I did mention that you can find a supply truck at only 5 different places on the island. We already know that one spot is at the airport, and now there is another trick that you can do that takes like 5 seconds. Usually when players found what their primary loot is, they climb this communication tower to parachute either at the main dock or somewhere else to check for their secondary loots. But once again I'll use my cell phone, but only to zoom in, not for taking pictures for Pavel, because it won't work, I'm way too far, except that you will be able to spot from here where the supply truck is. If you see it here, which is very rare, know that it will be traveling around the island. You won't find it at that spot in the heist, so either go for a grappling hook or use a different plan to get in the compound. It will be much easier. The other 4 places are fine. If you see the YETI at the position I'm showing you right now, it will be at the exact same place in the heist. To speed things up, this is the current intel I got from my scouting on the island. Now for this heist I will be using the Longfin approach because all I need to gather is either close to the airport, the north dock or the main dock, and the Longfin can have access to any of these depending which entry I take. So let me ask you this, if this was your heist and you want to do this the most optimal way while earning the most money possible, what would you do? Feel free to pause the video if you want to check it out. Now if your answer is
I'm going to take my Longfin 9000, go my way up to the airport, show the guards who is the boss, sneak in, fill my bags with whatever secondary loots I find, take back my Longfin, go south to the drainage tunnel, show El Rubio who is daddy, sneak in undetected, take the main loot, leave from the main gate, go left, and leave the island and finish all this under 15 minutes to get my elite bonus, and voila.
Look at the fucking screen.
Now hear me out, I really got nothing against the airport meta, I even made several videos on that, but in this case you could be leaving between 100 to 150k on the table just simply because you are not going for your best secondary loot. And one important thing that I still see a lot of people don't know is, let's be real, most of the time we're gonna get the tequila as our primary loot. Even if it's not our best option, it still gives you a big 20% buff on your secondary loot, which is another reason to go always for the white stuff when it's possible. Okay, so which patch should I take? Well, let's find out, and who knows, maybe this can even be done under 10 minutes.
Now, make your preparations. You will be ashore soon. GPS trace acquired. I have your location. Once you are inside the compound, I will be able to see you on CCTV. Remember, cameras everywhere. Almost like Mr. Rubio feels a little paranoid sometimes. You are coming up on the power station now. Turn it off and the cameras go down. You could always drive through the main gate. You would need the right vehicle, of course. Self-sufficiency, infiltrating private islands on your own. Do not worry about having enough space in your bag for main objective. I have installed special compartment for it. As my uncle would say, you kill the moose, you carry it home, you understand? Yes. The heavier the things you take, the slower you will be. Not far now to the
Control, un camión en la puerta principal. Atentos. Hold up. Let's take a look at you.
My name's Jeff.
Okay. ¿Está bien? Voy a dejar pasar. Clear. Go on. Go on.
It's good to be back. You know where to go by now. And do not forget, the bodyguards will not be fooled by your disguise. You're in the area where Mr. Rubio's personal bodyguards operate. His men will know every soldier under their command. No disguise will fool them. It would be rude not to check the safe, I think. You have done it. Excellent. Now, get it. Again. We cannot take the same truck out. It's too risky. You have to find another route. Heads up. Fresh guards inbound.
I just want to clarify something. The 10-minute part I mentioned a few minutes ago isn't important. I wasn't trying to flex or anything. We all play at different speed and different levels. What I wanted to mainly show you is that you shouldn't be worried to travel around the island in the heist as long as you know what you are doing. You have more than enough time to go anywhere you want, especially when you have the guard clothes equipped. It makes your mobility so much easier. If this is your first video in this channel, I highly suggest you to watch this video next. You will be able to click on it at the end. It's my own personal method that guarantees you one stash of white stuff minimum at the North Dock most of the time, and if you combine this with everything you saw here, you will always make the most amount of money and never have any trouble with this heist. Now, to resume what you saw in this video and some additional tips. First, understand what each accessory does. Second, if you can and if you need accessories, try to get the guard clothes first, then you can basically move freely. Third, try as much as possible to find accessories in the main areas, the airport, the North Dock and the main dock. Fourth, you don't need to find all the accessories, it all depends where your secondary loots are and what your plan is. Example, if you have one white stash at the airport but the other one is at the North Dock, it won't make sense to look for accessories at the main dock. Limit your research by using your logic. The supply truck can be the only exception if it's on your way to the compound like in this heist. Don't forget to use the trick I showed you at the communication tower to spot the YETI easily. If you are using the guard clothes and are not planning to use the drainage tunnel, you will need the supply truck or the grappling hood, or if you are a more experienced player, the code to enter the compound. So if you made it till the end of the video, I'm gonna take another 10 seconds of your time to tell you this. The most important thing is play the way you like and always have fun. Don't let anyone or any YouTuber, including myself, tell you how you should play. Explore, try new things and test new things. I hope this guide was useful and that you learned a couple of tricks. I would gladly like to hear your opinion in the comments. Do you find this too difficult or it makes a lot of sense? Thanks for watching. Peace.
I wonder. I never tried this. Funny how my accent sounds good now when I speed up the voice, eh? Oh, come on, let me climb. Man, fuck your wall. And fuck this truck too.